Welcome to Mind Your Business Business Bites. I'm so glad you're here. So go and grab a cup of coffee, grab your lunch, and let's sit and talk about keeping an eye on your technology. Technology is so important to any business. And so it's critical that you have the right tools, the right resources, and the right security measures in place to ensure success. And so today I have a very, very special guest with us. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to an amazing, amazing IT individual who is going to share just some amazing tips, tricks, and all of the good stuff for you. So be sure you share this video. Go ahead, like, share, get it out on your social media platforms. We want to make sure that people are getting this information. We are not being gatekeepers. We are sharing all the goods. So send it out, share it, like it. Let's get it out to everyone you know. So if you've done that, you've shared it, you've tagged your friends, you've grabbed your bites to eat as we go through this process, I'm going to bring this onto the stage with us. One of the most amazing IT individuals that I know. He has an amazing technology company. It's called Ion Technology. And so he is going to be joining us today to share all things technology. So welcome Dave Thomas, who from Ion Technology with us today. So welcome, Dave. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Holly. Appreciate you having me. I know there's a lot of effort in this, and hopefully we can get a few tidbits out to the folks.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned before to all of you, I have a personal relationship with Dave. I don't bring anybody on here that I don't personally know or work with. I think it's incredible to have people that you work with that align with your morals and values, and that you know that when you do business with them, they're going to treat your clients in a way that you feel they are well represented. So I am excited to have Dave on with us because IT is a very personal thing. IT can be a very interesting animal, and I like to believe I'm a guru, but I absolutely am not. And so Dave keeps me on my toes and lets me know what we're doing. So I'm going to jump right in. Dave, are you ready? You want to share a little bit about your background real quick?
Yeah, sure. Dave Thomas, I've been in technology since DOS 2.0. Obviously, I had to go catch up with DOS 1.0, but I've been in technology since then. I've worked for the DuPont company. I've done some government contracts, and had a couple special little things I'll share with you. Number one, I have done technology on all 7 continents. Yes, all 7, or should I say all 6? I'm not even sure what it is anymore. Also was the phase 1 designer of the new Baghdad International Airport. If you remember back in the days, it kind of got blown up a little bit, and I was able to put the draft together. Spent about 9 months putting it together, but got it together and got it into the right hands, and they're carrying it forward from here.
Awesome.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's exciting. I mean, those are huge projects to work on. So if you can handle that, I know as an entrepreneur, you can help me handle my technology now. So I'm excited. So let's jump right into it. And we're actually going to just jump into the deep end, if that's all right, Dave.
That is perfect.
All right. So I'm going to give you a scenario. I'd just like to hear your take on it. Let's say I've just started my new business and I need to purchase my business technology equipment and services. How do you suggest I go about doing that?
Okay. Well, Holly, I think this is it actually plays into your wheelhouse, because this is all about planning and strategizing. If you think technology sits in a silo, you're wrong. It has to be integrated with the business. It has to meet the parameters of your end goals and the vision that you're looking for. And it's obviously got to be easy, maintainable, and secure. Certainly, if you don't have a plan, then maybe you're visiting Holiday for the second or third time because you've decided I can't do it on my own. And usually when that happens, things can get pretty rough in trying to figure out what's going on. So with a new provider or a new company, we're looking at all those basic things that I'm sure that you're teaching every day. Obviously, we want to know who is that partner, right? Because everybody you're working with is a partner. And if they're not a partner, then you're not getting everything that you're looking for. So with a partner, you should expect demonstrations. You should expect a lot of commentary back and forth, a lot of discussion, lots of phone calls, lots of meetings, because as a technology partner, we have to know what you are seeking, and we need to know it really in an intimate detail. We just don't want to be your IT guy or your IT gal. Again, there's nothing wrong with an IT guy or an IT gal. The only real difference is they're not committed to you. They're committed to themselves. They're going to make sure that they're out there getting billable hours, but they're not committed to you to ensure that you can get more billable hours and whatever it is, whether you're selling a service or selling a widget. So they need to be part of the team, not somebody who just comes and shows up to fix something, because in the end, you're going to pay for it.
Wow.
I'll give you a great example, Holly. I picked up a new client several months ago, and they said, hey, look, our hard drive is failing. So I went out there, looked at it, and said, oh, what's going on here? What happened was the previous IT guy upgraded them to a solid state drive, which is awesome. The problem is they left the original drive in, which gets extremely hot, and they just taped the new SSD down to the drive. So within a matter of months, it basically burned up the SSD. So we asked them, can we take a look? Can we expand this project? We was asked for another hour of time to go look around. 16 incidences like this. So we had to do 16 drive replacements. Again, IT guy or girl versus somebody who's actually managing your business. Because we would know that if you did that, you're just going to come back and see us. So if you want built-in revenue, get your IT guy or IT girl.
Yeah, I love that. So
Yeah.
as most of you know, I have an IT guy. His name is Husband. My husband is the one I call when I create the problems typically. And he told me the other day, he's like, hire Dave. Like, stop calling me.
Well, it's funny that you say that. See, we call that a level 8 issue, Holly. So there's 7 layers in the OSI model, but level 8 is where the problem resides somewhere between the keyboard and the chair.
That would be me. That would be me.
So it's a level 8 issue.
For sure. So when you're talking about a technology partner, can you just break that down for me a bit further? Because I get having like the IT guy and gal that's really being more of a reactionist, right? Mm-hmm. Rather than being proactive about it. But how does the technology partner really benefit the solopreneur or maybe even the new entrepreneur getting started and they don't feel like that can be a place they put their expenses?
Sure. So again, with a technology partner, they are invested in your business. So for example, for anybody who is working with us, we have agents that are laid down on those systems. They're reporting back to us. They're telling us everything that's going on with the systems, not what files you're working with or what those files contain. We don't care about that. But what we care about is the metrics of the system. So we have probes on the system that report back to us and tell us how that system is operating. And in the case of companies that are on board with us in this nature, we're now able to go in, lift the hood while they're working, make a repair, close the lid, get back out, and then we just let them know that, hey, we found ABC, it's all corrected, shouldn't have any issues. And of course, a lot of times the greatest thing that we hear is, oh, I didn't know we had an issue. Like to hear that.
Yes.
So again, that partner is going to do more than just, I go fix it. We're going to keep track of your assets. I'm going to know every asset and every serial number that resides within your facility or is under your control. We're going to know when those devices should be replaced. either through end of life experiences or just maybe a malfunction of the device. But we know when that's going on. So with all that replacement, I can now tell you what your budget is. If I can tell you what your budget is for 5 years, you can now start planning and strategizing with your technology and how it works with the business. You just don't want to go out there and just get a fix and then move on, because it's always part of something else. With that technology partner, we're going to be there the whole way along. You call us, we're going to just take care of it.
I love that. I love the fact that it's like what I'm hearing you say is that by engaging with a technology partner, it's like having your own IT staff in-house.
Exactly.
It's just being outsourced.
Yeah, and it's funny because some of the contract levels that we offer, one of them, we've just given a little friendly name. It's called the You Own Us contract, which means whatever you ask for is what you get. Now, again, there's a lot of things going on in contracts like this, but they are getting every single thing that they've asked for and more.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So, you know this because we talk on a regular basis, and I love to pretend I know what I'm talking about in IT and that I'm a guru. So, I'm going to give you a pop question. Is that okay?
Sure. Go for
All
it.
right. Cloud or on-premise technology stack, Dave?
Yeah, of course you would ask that one. Okay. All right. So every market vertical is different. When I talk about those market verticals, we'll just say medical, for example. So the medical vertical, as you probably already know, they've already got everything that they need, right? They've got their online apps. You got access to that data that sits in the deep web. You can get access to that. You can look up your data and so on and so forth. However, not everybody's there yet. So where they aren't, I can assure you that they are working on it, because here's what's happening right now. And I'll give you a great example. Intuit, very popular small business accounting software. So as you know, last year, Intuit said, listen, we're not going to do QuickBooks Desktop anymore. And then they said, well, we will do it, but you're now going to pay a premium. So anybody who's using the QuickBooks Desktop, you are paying a premium to get it. And I'm going to be honest with you, they're making it so difficult to keep it up to date and just keep things to where it needs to be that it's almost becoming not worth having the desktop, although it gives you so many more features than you're going to get. So there's a great example where Intuit, say they have 100 people working on their cloud development, and they've got 100 people working on the desktop. If they get rid of the desktop, they've just saved 100 developer salaries. Now, it doesn't necessarily help you and I, right? Because the price isn't going to go down. You know that. However, it does help them. So I understand where they're coming from. And just in general, everything is moving to the cloud. Everything is becoming centric. It is easier to manage. And generally speaking, once whatever platform or vertical you're looking at becomes mature, you're going to get all the features that you've always had before. But now you get to do it from anywhere, right? So there's one of the values. I can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, you know what? I think I'm just going to get online and do a little bit of work. And you can. So there's the big value. But in the long run, we just got to wait for some of these to continue running forward. There are some verticals where they're just not, it's not rich enough. And so, do you want to be that first person to go out there and go on the bleeding edge or the leading edge, however you want to call it? Or do you want to wait and let somebody else bleed a little bit?
Right. Yeah. And I think with technology, we're going to see that transformation continue, because I'm sure you can remember, like I do, I remember sitting in meetings where we were talking. Somehow we get on these technology boards, right? And I would be sitting in these meetings and they would be giving a roadmap for 5 years and 10 years down the road, right? Like, here's our technology roadmap. And it would be everything from, software, hardware, all of it, right? And we would sit in server rooms even. I remember that, right? Sitting in these server rooms and having these discussions about technology roadmaps. And now when I look at technology roadmaps, because believe it or not, people still put me on their boards, their technology boards, and it's not usually for technology. But as I sit in these rooms, they're now looking at 6 weeks to, 8 weeks instead of 5 years and 10 years. So technology is constantly evolving and shifting.
Well,
And
here's
so,
an evolution story for you. Knowing that we were going to meet today and knowing where I was 25 years ago, I went and looked up something. And because I've still got some of my old data, and it was video conferencing 25 years ago. So you and I today, right? We just get online, we hop on a platform and we get to engage. We can talk to hundreds of thousands of people at a time, depending on what's going on. Do you know 25 years ago, I had to reset up or renew our video conferencing platforms in England, Canada, and the United States? $170,000
wow.
running off ISDN lines. So if anybody remembers that terminology, that's the kind of line that you'd get. And then as soon as you get it, they would turn it down, right? And then you'd go to use it and you'd have to call them up and go, can you turn my line back up? You turned it down. $170,000 for video conferencing equipment.
Wow.
Here we are 25 years later and like that.
It's insane. And it just makes me, I was thinking about using dial up because I worked in the travel industry, right, for 25 years in different capacities. And one of my roles was rolling out an online booking tool.
Okay.
And it was very cutting edge. American Express and Microsoft had went into an agreement at the time, and they were the only ones that were building this technology out. And I worked for a large, my client was a large pharmaceutical company, and we were trying to get them to move from just calling in all the time to the travel counselors to using an online booking tool and really focusing on their employees that were on the road the majority of the time. Because of course, just like you said, you can work from anywhere. It makes it very convenient. And so that was like our target market that I was working with. And I remember this particular pharmaceutical company that I was working with had a lot of different entities, different organizations underneath its umbrella. And I remember going out and really pushing this, and the finance team was on board, IT people, everybody was on board. We were going to implement this and get there, what we called road warriors, right? The people that traveled the most on the online booking tool. And then the sales force started calling my phone, and I was overwhelmed by complaints. And I said to them, what is the problem? And they said, we're on dial up and we can't get this to work. And I'm thinking, what? How is this company still on dial up for their individuals? But remember, nobody worked virtually.
Right.
So while they were on the road, they were having to use dial up. So long story short, they had to actually upgrade all of their field representatives, everybody that worked in the field. They had to upgrade them to stronger lines so that they wouldn't be on dial up.
Right.
And I think about that and I think how times have changed. My kids don't even know what dial up is.
Well, just go up to them and go, you got mail.
It was just, it's amazing how quickly things shift and change.
Yeah. Do not blink. You will miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's another question that I get a lot, and I'm seeing, because I love being on like Instagram and TikTok and all of those platforms, right? So you get to hear all these things, and some of it, I wonder, is it true? Is it not? But cybersecurity has been all over the headlines in the last few years. So what can I do as a business to protect my assets and intellectual property?
Okay, so education is really key here because things are changing continually. The threat actors out there, they're not going to stop, right? And there's a big reason why they're not going to stop. And unfortunately, it's you and it's me and it's everybody that we know.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if I lost you there for a second. So can you still hear me, Holly?
Yep, I can hear
Okay,
you.
so it's basically everybody that we know, people, we're the problem. And why are we the problem? Because we have fears, right? We're vulnerable. Um, we're easy to manipulate. I mean, if you think about this, this is social engineering, right? This is social engineering 101, and this goes back to the beginning of time. This is how they got the enemies to come over for a big feast that was poisoned, right? So social engineering. So that's the biggest piece. So we need to be trained and we need to stay up to date with what the bad actors are doing. The next thing we do is we need to protect ourselves. We need to do some things for ourselves, either through messaging or MFA, SMS, that kind of stuff. So with SMS, it's a single factor or two-factor authentication, which is better than just the username and password. However, if you can multi-factor authenticate, that's even better still, because that is really about three different things, right? Something you know, which is your username and password. Something you have, which may be your phone, right? So we've got a phone with our app on here. And something you are. So for me, in order for me to get access to the data that I've installed, I actually have to thumbprint into this, right? I got to get my fingerprint, or I can do face recognition, whatever the case may be. But it's multi-factor. So if all the conditions aren't met, then I've got a little bit of a safeguard. So you can think about like the banks when the bank started first pushing MFA or at least 2FA out there, and people were just freaking out. But today, I think we all just do it as a just standard course. As you can imagine, in my field, I've got a list a mile long of MFA that I have to work with every single client and various services within those clients. So that's the big piece of it. So here's another little thing for you. Credential stuffing. I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but credential stuffing is where you're continually using your favorite password over and over and over. Go Phillies, go Eagles, whatever it may be, right? So you keep using it over. Well, if that stuff should get circumvented and get into the hands of the wrong people, they're going to try that username and password everywhere, including banks, including your social media. Again, if they can hack your social media, there's events and vehicles we can use as a threat actor to actually move ourselves forward just from that. So those are the things that that concern me the most, the very basic stuff. But the last one is MFA fatigue. And I even almost got caught in this today, right? I am waiting for a package. And all of a sudden I get a request that says, hey, you need to pay this 30 cents. Wait a minute, what 30 cents? What's going on here, right? But I was expecting a package, but aren't we all every day? Right? So it's not like, well, they knew I was getting a package. No, they're just going to fatigue you. Just keep sending it, even if you aren't getting packages. And eventually you're going to go, oh yeah, I got a package coming. I better do that. And then it's all over. Right? So you got to think just for a second. So I got a question for you, Holly. I just gave you a whole bunch of information, right? And I just talked about the MFA. So if you're working and you all of a sudden just get an MFA request out of the blue, again, you didn't change browsers, you didn't change machines, you all of a sudden just got a request. What do you think is going on?
Well, I would think that if I'm getting an MFA request, then somebody has probably hacked in somewhere or gotten my username and password.
Absolutely. They have your username and password. It would have not had gone to that next step, right? So now you have even more action to do. Whether you sit up in Workspace, and I think you do, or whether you sit up in Azure and Entra, there's tons of logs for IT people to look through. So in this case here, now you feel like your username has been circumvented, the password's been circumvented. What is your next step?
Well, my next step, because I'm not properly secured, would be call my IT guy, which would tell me to hire Dave.
All right, so I think we circled all the way back to question number one almost, didn't we? But, that's the important thing. So, recently we had somebody call us up and say, and it was the leader of the company. And he said, listen, I think I've been hacked. We immediately jumped on, started pouring through the logs. We found the entry. We found out it was coming from Russia. Also, we know where it was coming from. But we have some policy on that said, if you're in Russia, you can't get to this account. So what they did is they shared the keys, right, and the login username password to all their colleagues around the world. Don't think for a second, just because they're in Russia, that's the only place they are. They have colleagues in every country. So they just got a hold of their buddies here in the US and said, here, start trying here. Try in Los Angeles. Nope. All right, let's try in New York. Nope. Let's try here in Philadelphia. Whoops, we're getting some activity. It's late, but okay, so now they've defined the area, right? And now we can see that they've now made the next advancement. They've gotten past that GeoGate, right? So now they're on the inside. So what we do is we just sign them out of everything. We'll leave it dead for a while. If it happens later at night, this is perfect because we just let it go all night. We just kill it off, kill all the session keys. Those keys are no longer good. Go in, make all the proper changes, and then by tomorrow morning, they're done going at it because we realize what's going on.
Wow. Yeah, that's really shows the importance of having a technology partner.
Yeah.
And really making sure that you have the right people supporting you in that to really stop it before it does damage to your organization.
And again, that's a partner for you, somebody who's going to be there when you need them. And again, things just don't always happen from 8 to 5, but you still have a partner. You just have now to make the phone call to us. That's it.
Yeah, I love that. So I do have one final question for you. So what is the best technology advice you can give to a new business owner or any business owner?
Okay. Interesting question. I answered that in the very first question. When I give you this answer and you go back and look at that first question, it'll make perfect sense. I wanted to be diplomatic in the first question, but I'm not going to be so diplomatic since you've just asked me. All right. So I'm not going to take credit for this. Several years ago, I attended some courses up at MIT, and I got to work with some pretty sharp people, as you can imagine. And so I basically collected what I'm going to tell you out of these folks. And what they told me was this: never let technology people make your technology decisions. Let them bring you ideas. Let them bring you demos. Let them bring you specs. Let them bring you anything that you want, but do not let them make your decision. You will not get what you think you're getting. You're going to have some cool technology, but you won't always get what you're getting. So that drive actually has to come from the inside. So while your technology partners are actually going to be doing all the legwork, you kind of have to know what you're looking for so that we can go out, find it, present it to you, and then give you all the cost associated with it. Because it's not just, I bought it, right? Now it's got to be installed. It has to be maintained securely, may I add. It has to be updated. I mean, there's just many things it's got to do. Does it include an accounting package? Can I get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different services within my package? Or do I just go out and get a CRM? And do I go out and just get an accounting package? And then my public facing this and whatever it may be. Because when you do that, now you have silos. And when you have silos, you got to bring all that data together. So if you can get a package that has the whole kit and caboodle in it, and it meets your needs, then that's the direction you want to head. So that is it. Again, not my quote, but never let technology people make your technology decisions, ever.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think it's incredible that, and I would be the one that would be like, well, just tell me what I need, right? Just get me the technology. But at the end of the day, we're the ones that manage our business, right? We're responsible for managing our business, and we need to know what our industries require. And if we don't understand the technology requirements of our industry, we need to do some research too. So, there are certain things, and I talk with new entrepreneurs and I let them know, look, there's a lot of different technology that can do what you want, but we really have to target into what are you looking for? What is, there's 100 CRMs out there that you can use, right? Some are based on specific things like medical. You have to have, even like psychiatrists, counselors, coaches. There's particular technology you need because of HIPAA laws. Then there are others that are specific to accountants. We talked about accountants and really being able to drive that. So you have to know your industry.
Yes.
And then there are some that kind of touch all of those industries. But will that technology do what you need to do for the other things? And but I do think that when you're making technology decisions, just like Dave said, have your partner at the table with you, your technology partner at the table, because they'll know what your system can handle. They'll know if there are things that you can do. Maybe you don't want certain individuals having access to certain, aspects of the software. They can kind of help navigate all of those things that we don't necessarily think about. There's a lot. So awesome. Well, Dave, this has been amazing. I said one final question, but
Sure.
this is a quick one. Do you ever do any type of training for entrepreneurs as far as things to consider or think about in technology? Anything like that on a regular basis? Or maybe that's something that you and I can partner on and do more things like this just to help educate.
Yeah. So I don't specifically, but Holly, you know me, if you ask, I'll be there before you arrive. Right. So I'm always there to help anybody who just needs some help. And conversations, to me, conversations are free. Let's just have a quick one. And if it sounds like, we may be able to work together, and that's great. If not, then we'll try to help you find somewhere that will help get you in the direction you want to go. We all know technology, it's changing so quick. And as we kind of mentioned earlier, you blink and you have missed something. And as a technologist, if you've missed something, you can't effectively help the clients. So we're constantly on the lookout, constantly testing. We've got a lab that sits in the back there with servers, a lot of money invested in it, but it's a gigantic playground is what it is.
Right. No, I love that. If you are looking for a technology partner, you want to partner with Ion Technology. I'm telling you, you are going to have professional service. You're going to have somebody that believes that their business is to make your business successful. I love the integrity and the honesty that Dave works with. I know that you will be in good hands. He would not be here if I didn't trust him wholeheartedly in this space. And he can educate. He doesn't just do the tasks you ask him to. He educates you along the way so that you make the best decisions for your business. So he truly is a partner. Go out to his website. It's on the bottom of the screen. We want you to connect with him. If you have questions, reach out to him, pick his brain. He is more than willing to help you, guide you, and really figure out what the right partnership looks like for your business. And so thank you, Dave, so much for sharing today. This has been a wealth of knowledge. If you have additional questions, put them in the comments. We will get back to you. We want to hear from you, and reach out to Dave. You're going to be in great hands.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me, Holly. I really appreciate it. And it's always fun connecting with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for joining Mind Your Business. Have an amazing afternoon.
You too.